is wise. Trust
Do
me.
chopping of the thing of the beef or making of the sausage. We'll be off next week because fuck it, I don't, it's Christmas and you're not going to be here anyway. So
We'll be off next week
you already
because
said that to the grills,
you know
so and I had already made
Okay,
that
yeah.
decision. So
you already said that to the girls. So
because I was there for
Okay,
that, so
yeah.
it's good. Jen's looking good. I didn't know she'd became a school teacher, so
Yeah.
I never saw her as the school teacher type. So
Oh, yeah.
good for her. Good for her. English. So sorry. That's that. I love literature, but I could not do the whole grammar thing.
Mm,
Just like,
I love literature,
God,
but I could
where did
not
you
do
people learn to
the
write?
whole.
Oh, I know, on the interwebs.
yeah, there's that. Heresy and
My first
Hearsay.
day of high school English would be me playing Word Crimes by Weird Al. This is general, you know. Everything you've learned on the internet is wrong about
Right?
about. It's like, let's start from there. Yeah, but
Do I attempt the Stream Deck? Let's launch it and see what happens.
okay. Uh, oh, you put yours up already. I'm just going wing mine. So keep.
Yeah, I
I
tweeted
look.
to my personal Twitter and I put it on our Facebook page.
No, I was looking at your list.
What?
Uh,
Oh, my list. Okay.
yeah. Well, of course you're going to put that down as one of your favorite modern songs of all time.
I wasn't sure how you were like
It's like
classifying modern and traditional, so that was a little tricky. Cause I mean,
no,
Little Drummer Boy
it is.
is traditional, arguably.
Yeah, yeah, it is, but it's also White Christmas. I would put that more as modern, but that's fine. I put that more as
Really?
modern. Yeah, but that's fine. Because anything written in the 20th century or beyond, I consider that modern in
Okay.
my estimation. But that's fine. Uh, it's it's your list, so that's how I view modern. If you view modern different, that's perfectly fine. So that's cool. No, but no, I understand the piece. Look, it's Bing Crosby and it's your favorite singer. So it's like I like
And the White
you were going
Christmas
to
for
put
me is so traditional because I mean I think of the movie,
yeah,
which I've watched a million times because I used to work in a video store,
and they probably played it a
and
billion
I
times.
played it. Actually, it was a deli, but we rented videos, and it was something that I would just play
what were
all
you next?
Christmas.
What were you next door to a rental store? What were you the
It
archetype
was
for
a
for
deli
for?
gas station laundromat that did video rental.
Okay, suddenly I have flashes of you working in Clerks.
Yeah, kind of.
Suddenly I just see this black and white grain of a young September. It's like with your friend sitting there. It's like I'm not even supposed to be here today. Like, so yeah, okay, I could definitely see that. Yeah, like a
Yeah, I did
couple
that for
of
some years. That was my first full time job, I think.
uh,
Before or after. No, that might have been after the
what was my
dry
first full?
cleaners, which was a nightmare. I got
What
really,
was
really
my
sick from the chemicals.
I don't even remember what my first full time job was. There's been a lot of
Yeah, I was
migraines.
trying to remember like what my first actual job was, and I couldn't like
Oh, I know
remember
what
what
my
came first because I worked at a Burger King for like 3 days, and then I got the job at the dry cleaners. But somewhere in there, I worked at Arby's and KFC and the drive-in. Like I don't know what order any of that shit came in anymore.
my first job is I worked at Carowinds.
Oh, cool.
It wasn't a full time job, but I worked at Carowinds. And I actually worked an entire season at Carowinds.
It's just so weird to me. I
So and
cannot. I spent like an hour thinking about it last week, and I could not figure out what the first actual job I had was.
So that was good because I got to, I was 16, all that kind of stuff. So that was kind of but as far as like my first full time job,
Oh, wait, I do know
oh, okay,
because it's part of why I hate Reagan. Because when I was 14,
right,
my mom was laid off for a really long time. Unemployment ran out. They wouldn't
right,
extend it, but he did sign an order to basically allow child labor and
right.
extend the rules on that. So I had to work in like a fucking hospital, state run hospital laundry, running a mangler half the time, which is like Stephen King wrote a damn horror novel about a story about that.
I, right. The only I haven't read the story, but I know about it from his on writing semi autobiography, semi writing story talking about the Mangler. So it's the only thing
Oh,
I
hold
know
on, my
about it.
sister is calling me.
Yeah, where he worked summers working at a laundry, and his mom did that too.
Yep.
And how people in New England, the tourists in New England are some dirty motherfuckers.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
Hold on, I'm calling my
uh,
sister back. It might be
okay.
important. Hey, what's up? I'm live. Here, I'll put you on speaker. We're live on the internet.
I'll
I'm
let you go then. It's not
streaming.
important.
Oh, okay.
When are you done? Call me back.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. That's my sister Tiffany, everybody.
Hi, Tiffany.
All right. Um. Well, I think we're all good to go. Um. You could not. Oh wait. Make it so you can hear the bumpers without a whole lot of dicking around. I'm not gonna do right now.
Yeah, don't worry about it. That's fine.
It would be nice though.
One day, we'll all have it worked out.
Yeah.
Um, so, but I was going to say, and then the show after Christmas is going to be uh, year in review, and it'll be top three political stories, top three social stories, and top three religious kind of stories that stick out as far as religious individuals being
Okay.
idiots, kind of thing. And we'll kind of go into details why we feel those are the most important stories. So,
Yep.
but we'll leave it to just nine, three topics on that one. So, but and try not to. And then, I guess, have you lined up that guy as far as the him coming on our show or us going on his show?
What, jury?
No, the one that was the guy that was more conservative.
Oh, holy crap! I forgot about that.
That would be a no. You haven't.
No. And I'm
That's
trying
fine
to remember who the hell that was.
because he came out for like Black Lives Matter and like he lost like like half of his listening audience because of it or
Yeah.
something to that effect. So I'll let you take some time to think about it.
Yeah.
It's not. I'll figure out first of the year we're going to have to deal with all the Congress stuff anyways because by then, hopefully, right now from what I've just read from AOC's Twitter feed, they will probably have a relief bill between now and the end of the year,
Mm-hmm.
and it looks like the personalized checks are only going to be $600.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's something. They were saying we weren't getting nothing.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's better than zero, but it's still like, wow, that's just like slap in the face after what the last one was in what May, and they
Yeah.
haven't.
Yep.
That is Jesus. And every other civilized country in the world has been paying their people for what months now.
Yeah.
Anyways, and that's if Trump even signs off on it.
Yeah.
He may not sign off on it.
Yeah,
Because you,
we'll see. Yeah, we're in the process of taking a loan from ourselves to get
I
our
did.
tech updated before it completely dies and pay down some debt, which
Yeah.
sucks.
I
But our debt is otherwise unmanageable right now, so no,
I I
figure it
I
out.
just I just found my job gave us like 120 hours of COVID time, flex time,
Mm-hmm.
and they're going to be giving us whatever we haven't used as a payment. And I've only used like I've got like 95 hours of that left.
Oh, cool.
So they're going to be giving that back to me as a check at the end of January. So
Nice.
that's going to be going to fix things.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that can't come at a better time. Let me
Yeah,
tell you
that's the
that
thing with
much.
this. It's like, oh my god, like we got to pay down this debt, and we're making a plan to do it. And like, I know as soon as we tap this and get things straightened out, something will break again. Like in a couple of months, our cars will both be paid off,
Yeah.
and I'd love to be putting that back in the budget and paying back the rest of the debt. But something's gonna go horribly wrong.
Oh yeah. That's the it's like that's the problem with home ownership is as soon as you, it's like people's like, oh, I want to buy renters, and I understand that renter dichotomy. You don't own it, but on the same thing, if something breaks, you just call the person who owns
Yeah.
the property and be like, fix this.
Yep.
Versus if you're living at your house is like, well, this sucks.
Yeah. Well, knock on
I
wood, there's not much more that can break in the house. Like our appliances keep breaking, but like we've had the roof replaced, we've had the gutters replaced, we've had basically all the plumbing, incoming and outgoing replaced.
oh,
Like the
there is
septic
one thing.
system has been replaced, the HVAC has been replaced. Like there kind of isn't anything major left right now.
Right. Let me do this. There is one thing I need to do. Hold on one second before we
Okay, because
actually
it's
go.
7:01.
Oh, it is, isn't it? I am so sorry. Um, I thought it was four. I looked down for a second. It was 6:55, and the next thing it's like 7:01. It's like, how did that happen? Like, it's like, yeah, I'm speeding up, but my computer is really slow, so I'm sorry. I'm trying to find the artist of one of the songs. Uh,
Yeah, I kind of wanna. If I'll try to spend the time when I'm editing and stuff to get links to some of these. Like I was looking up to. I want to put the Nicholas Was. I know there's a Vimeo of it.
Okay. I don't even know what that is.
Oh my god, it's a Neil Gaiman short story that is creepy as fuck. It is, but it's awesome. And it's technically about Santa Claus, but it's like a horror. You should listen to it. It's wonderful. Hey, Rob, message me. No.
Okay, so it is okay. All right, so it is that. So I just don't know how to pronounce the first name. Dar. What's how do you pronounce that?
Huh?
How do you pronounce Dar?
VAR?
No, D as in David, A as in Apple, R as in Romeo.
Oh. I guess Dar. Who are you
Dar.
trying to cite?
Um, Dar Williams. I don't know if you know who that is.
Nope, I don't know who it is.
There is a Christmas song that I really like that
That's...
called. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, you reminded me of the other modern one I wanted to put.
Is it called Christians and Pagans?
No.
Okay.
No, there was, and I posted about it last week. Somebody posted this it's brand new, and it's kind of like,
okay.
I can't wait to hold you again at Christmas. It's like a COVID times Christmas song, and it's fucking great. Oh, I know who posted it. I can look by that. I was like, ooh, this is an instant classic, and I should share this with everybody. I'm perfectly willing to take off my Nightmare Before Christmas one to do it. Where is it?
I've never sat through the entire Nightmare Before Christmas.
Here it is, Lonely Christmas by Wallace.
Ah,
If you have not seen this wonderful thing and heard it, it is freaking great. Yeah, I'll take out this one. Boink. Oops. What happened? Post, damn it. Made back in January, I stare at my phone alone at night. Am I doing this right?
well, I
I
heard
feel
part of
like
it.
a reindeer in the headlights.
Hello.
Hold on.
Oh, okay.
Doing something. Oh, this lonely, lonely Christmas. I know it's true. I think about the cozy Christmas. Okay. What's up?
Okay. All right. All right. We're not doing
Ready?
bumpers, so correct?
Well, you can't hear them, so there's no point.
Okay.
I'll stick them in later.
Okay. All right. Let's get this going then.
Okay. Blessed is the season which engages the whole world in a conspiracy of love. Hamilton, right? Maybe.
Christmas can't be bought from a store. Maybe Christmas means a little bit more. Dr. Seuss.
'Tis the season when people of all faiths and cultures are pushing back against the planetary darkness. We string bulbs, ignite bonfires, and light candles, and we sing Anita Diamant.
And the angel said to them, do not be afraid, for behold, I proclaim to you good news of great joy that will be for all people. For today in the city of David a Savior has been born for you, who is the Messiah and the Lord. And this will be a sign for you. For you will find the infant wrapped in swaddling clothes and lying in a manger. Luke 2:10 through 12. Let's talk about the holidays.
Welcome to Heresy and Hearsay, a podcast where we claim faith in the context of political discussion. I'm September, and you can follow me on Twitch and Twitter at 9 of 12, and you can hear me on the Geek Grills podcast. Heresy and Hearsay has a Patreon site that you can find at patreon.com/heresy and hearsay, and you can visit there to help support us. Just $2 a month goes a long way to help us make this humble show. You can also contribute with bits in Twitch or subscribe for free if you have Amazon Prime. And with me is the man with the word about the word, Reverend Barney.
Salutations, true believers. I'm Reverend Barney, and you can follow me on Twitter at SethRothII, and you can follow the show on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and any podcast catcher. Just look for Heresy and Hearsay. Please like, share, follow, and subscribe to us. Also, give us a review. That helps others find us today and find us. We also have a website where you can find our past shows and listen, as well as our current shows when we get them up. And you can also find our bios there. Just look for heresyandhearsay.com. So today I thought we would do something a little fun and also kind of bring some joy to people, because it's been a hard year, and with COVID and hopefully most of our listening base is doing what they're supposed to do and kind of social distancing and everything, and that does the holidays can be a challenging time anyways for families and people, because there's a lot of seasonal depression and stuff like that. And what I wanted to do is bring some favorites and bring some joy this and try to be your family for the holiday, so that you have some friendly voices to remind you of good things, of happy times, uh, and everything. So we're going to talk about some of our favorite stuff for the holidays, and not just Christmas, but all of the holidays that happen in the month of December. And we want to share our love of the holidays and everything with you. So we're going to discuss some of our favorite stuff, and just be joyful at this time of year. So September. Do you have anything to say before we start talking about some of our favorites and stuff?
No. Just, I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to have people listening. I'm glad to share some joy in the season. Um, I do. I'm very grateful that I have, I don't know, good friends that I am close enough to that I am able to exchange some things, some distance, some not. And a little extra, I actually feel like I'm celebrating Hanukkah this year
Mm-hmm.
because my daughter is, well, I mean, she's kind of witchy, but also kind of Jewish now. Um, like her boyfriend is, and my granddaughter is, and I'm getting to see like pictures of my grandbaby lighting the menorah, and it's really wonderful.
That's absolutely wonderful. So that is this is a one. It can be a very wonderful time. I'm grateful for my family and friends as well, and grateful for our listeners and supporters. I think this is the hard. It can be a hard time, especially right now in COVID, and we just want to be warm and cozy. So get some hot cocoa and or whatever you like to drink and snuggle up and hopefully we can bring some joy today. So we're going to
Yay!
start with our top three traditional holiday songs. These are we we were having a discussion before we went live about what we thought about traditional songs are. So, but for me they'll be a little more probably religious, and I apologize in advance. That's just I'm Reverend Barney for a reason. So, but
Well, that was my concern too. I was like, what does he mean traditional? Because, I mean, I certainly, there were things we sang in church every year,
mhm.
um, and so many carols are religious based, but I think there are other traditional holiday songs.
Well, it's like there are holiday songs that are traditional that aren't religious based. Like my number one, well, I don't even know all the words to my number one because so many times you don't hear the words. But my favorite one is doesn't it doesn't have to be religious based. Like my first, the one that I'm going to bring up first is we is We Three Kings. I just like the song. There's only one version of it I really like, and that's the Mannheim Steamroller version of it. I just like the orchestration of it. There's no words to it. I just like how they put it together. Um, it was a it, it was a special Christmas present. I got that Christmas album that they put out, and it still has a special place in my heart, and that's one of my favorite songs off of it. But it's very I like that song
I
as
always
far as
liked that song growing up, and it's funny because like it's sort of a holiday song,
mm-hmm.
but I was always kind of fascinated by the idea of Epiphany.
Right.
It's like the the they always show the three kings, in your manger scene, but they were late.
Oh well, no, yeah, in the story, and we'll get to that as far as stories are concerned. In the story, the three magi or wise men or kings or whatever, they didn't show up until like they were not in the manger. They were not hanging out in the manger for months because those guys didn't show up until much later, as far as that story is concerned.
It's so
Uh,
crazy. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we were fascinated. And maybe we liked the We Three Kings and the story because when it comes down to it later and you learn more and more about it, it doesn't make any sense.
yeah, no,
It doesn't.
no.
They're from the Orient, but they were following a star east to get to Bethlehem, like that doesn't even track.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
no
because
wonder they were so late. They had to go all the way around the world. Um,
yeah, yeah. It's like how are that's yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's May. I was like, how did you cross the? You know what? I'm not going to ask how you crossed the Pacific. God works in mysterious ways, and I'm just going to go,
well, the map was
sure. What?
smaller then.
Yeah. Well, if you're a flat earther believer, I'm not
Well,
getting into that either. But anyway, so
uh,
yeah. And I've never been a real fan of that story because then because then there's the whole baby genocide in that story as well, and I'm just like, you know what? I prefer the Luke version, but we'll get to that one in a second. So, what is one of your favorite traditional
well, I
songs?
had also listed We Three Kings.
Oh, I see that
But
too.
for me,
Yeah.
it is more. It's not necessarily the Mannheim Steamroller version. It's the song itself. Um, so moving past that, my next one I listed was Good King Wenceslas, and that was another. It stuck with me because I sang it in chorus, and it
Mhm.
was really beautiful with having different part harmonies
Right.
inserted into it, and so like that's the version in my head, and it mentions the feast of Stephen and snow. It's just got so many tactile elements in the
Hmm.
lyrics that it just kind of stuck with me, and I never looked it up. I don't know who that was really. I just
And it's also my favorites as well. That's another one of my favorite traditional songs, and you can't find it anywhere on the internet. It has been completely obliterated from the internet. But there was when Stephen Colbert was doing the Colbert Report. He was doing a Christmas week, and he had yeah. It was when the Elf on the Shelf was first came out. So he had Michael Stipes from REM basically sitting on a shelf, being his elf on a shelf,
mm-hmm.
and his guest was Mandy Patinkin,
Mm.
and they closed the show with that song, where Mandy Patinkin sang the song of the King, and Stephen was playing the song of the Page, and then Michael Stipes was playing the song of the narrator, and it was just absolutely gorgeous.
Holy
Those
cow,
voices,
I'm gonna have to
and it
find
was
that.
you can't. I have looked everywhere because of the fact that for some reason, Good King Wenceslas is copyrighted by somebody, and they got dinged, and it has been obliterated off of the internet. I have looked on Daily Motion, I have looked on Vizio, I have looked everywhere. I can't find it.
I would tweet
There is
straight at Mandy because he's really cool. He might find a way to get it to you.
because that is such a beautiful song, a beautiful version of that song. But yeah, for some reason it has been completely obliterated off the internet. It was they still have the his old show on Comedy Central, and they can't even play that entire episode for that song for some reason. So I don't know. I
Hmm.
just but it's an amazing version of that song. But yeah, I love that song. I love the lyrics of that song, and they go through the entire song
Yeah.
and the whole going to save this guy who's out in
Nice.
the woods about to freeze to death basically, and it's this king, and it's like, well, he shouldn't have to worry about this lonely guy, but he goes out there to save this one man and bring him back to the castle, and it's just amazing, and it's just so beautiful.
Now, my
And that's
third
what
one on my traditional
yeah.
list, you argued that it's modern because it's White Christmas, so it's 20th century. Um, so there's that. But
Well,
I love Bing Crosby and I love that movie, and it's I think it's just a different use of the word traditional because it's tradition.
mhm,
I think for a lot of people, since I mean, when did that movie come out? 50s. To
yeah.
just watch it every year. It's one that I tend to watch every year.
No, and again, my idea of traditional and your idea of traditional may be different, and that's kind of part of this as well. Is that if you see this as a traditional song, who am I to say no? It's not a
Yeah.
traditional song. I would not in my brain have saw that as a traditional song, but if you do, then if this is a tradition for you, then this is a traditional song.
Well, it's like, Do
My
You Hear What I Hear? In my head,
right,
that's a traditional song, and it also has religious overtones, but that's from like the 60s.
really, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
I I would have thought that was a traditional song. My favorite Christmas traditional song is Carol of the Bells. I absolutely love Carol of the Bells. I have not found a version of the Carol of the Bells that I
Mm.
have not loved, from traditional versions to parody versions. I love the Muppet version. I love where Animal goes nuts on it. It's hilarious. There's not of course, the classic, now classic, man. That's makes you feel old. The Christmas Eve in Sarajevo uh, by the Trans Siberian Symphony Orchestra.
Mm-hmm.
There has not been a version. That's what I was listening to when you were starting the call. It's like I was finishing that up. It's like not ending this song because I love the Carol of the Bells. It's just those rich harmonies and tones, and I know there's words to it. I have no idea what those words are because they're overlaid so much that I can't catch the words. And I could look up the lyrics, sure, but I think that would lose some of majesty of the song for me if I looked up what the words are. Uh, it's more of the melodies mixing and everything. And when I hear that song, I'm like, wow, that is it. So that it is now Christmas time. I have heard the Carol of the Bells at least 5 times
Right.
in 5 different ways because there are so many versions of it out there because it is very well known and very popular.
Yeah.
So modern holiday songs. What is and I have seen this song and I have still not looked it up and I need to. So what is your first one that you have listed?
Um, Fairy Tale of New York. I have always loved that one so much. I mean, it's definitely kind of punk ass. Um, if
Who does that one? Is it the New York Dolls or who is the one that who does Fairy Tale of New York?
oh
Um,
the Pogues.
the Pogues, yes, yes.
Yes. And I love it.
Uh,
Rob doesn't like the Pogues at all, which is crazy to me. But he also, he's not a punker like
right.
like I have history of, and I love it. It's one of my favorites. Of course, I also love. It's not Tom Waits, but it sounds like Tom Waits' song that
Mm-hmm.
is in my Christmas playlist. It's called "Christmas Sucks." Um, so, if you think you don't know Fairy Tale in New York, a lot of people call it Christmas Eve in the Drunk Tank. Because it's part of the
Yes.
lyrics and it's the thing that
Mm.
sticks with everyone. But the actual name of the song is The Fairy Tale of New York.
It's I have heard a lot of people talk about it, and I really do, and I still need to look it up. I will probably do it after the show, and because it will be fresh in my mind. For me, my first one is um, Greg Lake's "I Believe," and this is going to be my only depressing choice of things. Well,
Okay.
but it's Greg Lake's "I Believed in Father Christmas,"
Mm.
um, because there's always that tinge of because I've always had a problem with commerciality of Christmas. A couple of years ago, we did the Kirk Cameron Saving Christmas, and that's going to come up relevant
Yeah.
in a little bit. Um, and the commercialism and stuff like that. And this song always kind of spoke to me about that in a way. So that's always been one of my like.
I don't get all down on the commercialism
Yeah,
though.
yeah. I don't mind. It's just my thing. It's just one of those. It makes me a little upset, because it's too much. I think when I look at Black Friday and all of the people that get hurt on
Yeah,
Black Friday
yeah.
and
I
stuff,
mean, that's
that
stupid. But
yeah,
I don't
that's
just begrudge people using an excuse to give gifts. Cause,
yeah, no, the gift things I don't have a problem with. It's when it goes to the extreme. That's where my It's like I grew up. I grew up, and some of my first vivid images of Christmas is watching the 6 o'clock news and watching grandmothers beat each other bloody for Cabbage Patch dolls. So this is where that kind of sticks in a little. So I'm trying to be more positive this year and everything else, and I'm trying to get better about my views on Christmas. But that song kind of is still there as saying, we can have a better Christmas. We just have to believe in it. I think
Hmm.
that's the message of it. So what is your second one? And I already knew this was going to make it on your list somehow. So
Well, yeah. I mean, it's Bowie. But the Peace on Earth, Little Drummer Boy with Bing Crosby again and David Bowie, I love so much. I own like a CD with just that on it that was purchased for me as a gift. Like my well-known love of that song, and it makes me so happy inside. And it's this cute little video. It's like, but Bing kind of not getting who Bowie is, and
yeah,
Bowie being like all dressed up and like being trying to be polite to the old man, because he was really like way out there in his career at that time,
was
and I'm charmed as hell.
was this during his Ziggy Stardust phase
Yeah,
at that point? Okay,
yeah, like
so
Ziggy Aladdin era, and so weird. And I remember reading the story at some point. I'll try to find it and put it in our notes about how that collaboration happened, but it was really bizarre. And like Bing really
so
didn't have any idea who Bowie was.
yeah, I had heard that he had no idea, but it's like, oh, this is a new guy and he's really popular with the kids and stuff like that.
I can imagine like whoever was producing the show like panicking, thinking David would do something really fucked up.
Yeah, above all everything else, I mean, David was a class act and a gentleman,
Yes,
you know. So
yes,
my
smart ass
uh,
though. Whew.
yeah, we could be, but yeah. My second one is from an artist, and you have to kind of look this one up. It's Dare Williams, Dar Williams, and it's called "The Christians and the Pagans," and it's this cute little song about some pagans and a younger generation that are pagans, witchy people, and their Christian family getting together for Christmas. And it's just a sweet little song
You
about
keep telling me about this, and I still haven't looked it up. I'm sorry. I will.
it's a it's okay, and it's called "The Christians and the Pagans," and it's this cute little sweet song about them getting together and having Christmas. And and one of the families, the Christian family, has a little boy, and it's like and he asks, and it's like, I think it's a lesbian couple who's also witches, because of course I don't it's just they're telling their story. So but it's just it's they're telling their truth. And the little boy was like, asking his dad if he could be a witch, or could be a pagan or something like that in the song. And it's just really cute and it's really sweet. And
I feel
this
like I'm gonna look
this
this up, and it's gonna turn out I have seen it and just forgot. Um,
uh, yeah.
Look, we'll learn stuff from each other. I'll watch that and get all the warm fuzzies, and you can listen to Fairy Tale New York and that punk rock
Yeah,
nastiness.
and be like, all right, yeah. But it's one of those. But it's a very sweet song, and it's how I view Christmas, view not just Christmas but the holidays. Is that I get so upset about this war on Christmas stuff, and it's like there are so many holidays that happen in December. Why do you have to be so angry?
Yeah,
It's the holidays. Just if
yeah.
someone says happy holidays, just say happy holidays back. It's not that, if somebody says Merry Christmas to me, I say Merry Christmas. If they say Happy Hanukkah, I say Happy Hanukkah.
I
Whatever.
should have put um, Adam Sandler's Hanukkah song in here, but you know.
Well, that can be an honorable mention. So because
Well,
there's an
see, I
honor.
already have two more that I really want to
Yeah,
share with people.
Well, I am going to mention two instead of three. So,
Okay.
because there's a funny one I do need to mention. So, what's your next one?
Lonely Christmas by
Okay.
Wallis. Wallis. I will put a link to it in our notes. This is
Okay.
brand new. It's kind of in the time of COVID. It's this beautiful voiced woman, and there's little kids in it singing with her. I don't know if it's her sisters or her daughters, but it's Lonely Christmas, but it's upbeat and dance around happy and but singing like this lonely Christmas, but I'm thinking about when I can hold you again, and it is sweet and adorable, and I'm like instant classic. Uh, I I'm gonna keep this in my library. I I never heard of this artist before. A friend of mine posted it last week, and I just was completely in love with it. I recommend everyone go watch that. It's
Yeah,
a
you played a
balm in
little bit
this
of
in this time of COVID Christmas.
you played a part of it while we were getting ready, and she does have a very beautiful voice.
Yeah.
So, my
And there's this cute
honorable.
scene in the video where
Mhm.
like the kids are outside the door, like they're on other sides of a glass, front porch door, and it's like
Right.
obviously the grandparents inside, and they're kind of like singing and dancing together, but doing it distanced.
Oh, that's so
Oh,
cute. Yeah, that's yeah. So my third out of four, I know we're already breaking the rules.
yeah,
Is Weird Al's Christmas at Ground Zero,
well.
because
Wow, I forgot about that one.
if I don't mention Weird Al's Christmas at Ground Zero, I am going to, probably, my Weird Al fan card will probably explode, and I will probably be hunted down by Weird Al, and he will probably, beat
Throw a
me up
pie
with
in
his,
your face.
yeah, beat me up with his, or accordion. No, he won't. Like,
Yeah.
but no, he's a very wonderful human being, very sweet and kind, and his record company was like, because this was very young in his career, it's like, you should put out a Christmas song. It's like, I'm Jewish.
Right?
Yeah,
Uh,
all right. Sure, why not? I know Neil Diamond put out an entire Christmas album. That's a whole nother
sure.
kettle of fish. And I'm like, all right. But yeah, so, but he put, I love it, it's very fun and very silly and and I like this one better than his other Christmas song, because the night that Santa went crazy, just, I don't know, it just, it has I know he's never mean, it just has this, it feels mean to me in some ways. This one is very jaunty and fun, and it's a classic, and it's from his early years and everything else, and the video is interlaced with all those 50s propaganda, uh, uh, nuclear war stuff that, we were all scared of in the 70s and 80s as kids as well, because they never updated those videos that we were showed as kids. It's like, yeah, this will work now. It's like, really? Thanks. Yeah, this desk is going to protect me from a nuclear blast. Sure. But so yeah, it's just really, it's a classic. It's fun. It's a fun little video and a fun little song, and it's just adorable, and
Mm-hmm.
I can't not like that song. I have seen, now this next one that you're about to mention, I have seen people talking about this on Twitter, so I want to hear but I haven't listened to it, so I want to hear your thoughts on this one.
Okay. There's a song, and it's been out for a while, but it's just gaining some traction and popularity now. It's a country song, and I'm not generally into country, but it's very, very good. And it's by Aaron Lacombe, and it's called Uncle Carl Came Out on Christmas. And there's a video to it. It's it's just a good solid song. It's solid, country in telling a story. The musicianship is excellent. The video is well constructed, and this guy, um, I have to admire him doing this. He had some pushback from his record company when
Hmm.
he wrote this. He got a letter, an email saying, "Thanks for sending your song. We appreciate you choosing us for your promotion needs. However, we would not be able to promote this song video due to our faith-based views. We would still love to promote a different song from you in order to fulfill the promotion credit if you'd like. Please respond with the new song link to this email and we will review it promptly." And he replied with, "While I appreciate your honesty, if the contents of this video violate the principles of your faith, then doing business with you violates the principles of mine. I'll expect an immediate refund." So he eventually did get someone to to promote this. He grew up in Texas, and I just gotta say, watch it. It is a little tear jerking. Um, he based it on, real stories, people in the video. Like, some were actors that were hired, some were friends of his. But it's kind of like that tense moment, that happens at family Christmases sometimes, where people, like, drop that bomb. Uh, like, "Hey, I'm gay," and all the reactions to it are, in the song. Like, oh, the young people, they knew for decades, and
Yeah.
and everybody else is kind of like, "Oh, okay, his friend that's been coming to Christmas for the last 4 years in a row," and it was just like the dad who didn't have a clue, and just kind of walks in the other room and sits down, and everybody is like just kind of tiptoeing and quiet the whole time until they decide to leave, and then it's got like the climactic, bit of the story where the dad, you know, uh, follows them out of the house, and then it's this wonderful heartwarming acceptance thing instead of, him yelling at them. And they had the dad wearing a red cap,
Oh, that's wonderful.
which was like definitely on purpose.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful, beautiful story. Um, the LGBTQ community doesn't, you know, get a lot of them. I'm proud of us. Look at that. Look at the stories we picked out. Let's
Yeah.
rep people, right? Um, but yeah, I like a country song, and it's a Christmas song. I don't know, like, who am I? Um,
Yeah. Well,
but trust me, it's worth it.
I'm gonna pick a song from from an avid atheist. So as my favorite
Okay.
Christmas, it's by Tim Minchin, and it's
Mm.
called "White Wine in the Sun."
Oh, I love that song.
That song breaks my heart every time I hear it, and it's just so beautiful. And there's little bits of comedy in it because he is a comedian, but it's still. I mean, just thinking about it, it's tearing me up a little bit
He's
because
a brilliant comedian.
he is a brilliant comedian. He is he is one of those what I call evangelical atheists. Because they hate that term, but he's one of those that is very preachy about his atheism, and that's fine.
Hmm.
But but the song is so beautiful and it's so touching. It's talking about the his daughter when she was first born and everything, and he is Australian. He's English Australian. He lives in Australia, but like part of his family is in England, and at the time he was living in England or whatever. They're very weird about how they do that. It's like what's going, it's like what's basically going on with Amanda Palmer and Neil Gaiman. Neil's currently in Scotland and she's in New Zealand right now. So, but they do that. But in England and Australia, they do that so much. They do this cross thing where they'll live in England or they'll live in
Hmm.
and so it's very, but it's absolutely, and of course in right now while we are in Australia, it's summertime down there. They're
Hey,
the high summer right now.
yeah,
So
that's a good segue. Did you realize that Toto's Africa is a Christmas song?
I did not know that. No.
This came up on the internet this week, and I was like, "Holy cow!" And it's a game changer because they talk about the Serengeti and stuff, and the rainy season is like now.
Oh, I didn't.
So it
Well,
turned, and they talk about the rains down in Africa. It's a Christmas song.
oh, that's okay. Well, that's that's interesting. I did not know that. No, I didn't know that. So yeah. So, but I've okay. You've just. I'm sorry. My mind. That gif of that comedian going doing that whole mind blow thing. That's you just blow my mind. Um, but so that's what part of the song is the fact that they celebrate uh in the sun, and so that's what the song about
Right.
is absolutely beautiful, and
It is.
it's beautiful and it's heartbreaking, but in the beauty and the love that he
Hmm.
has for his little girl,
Yeah.
and is absolutely gorgeous. And it's just like, I'm not a parent, never going to be a parent, but as someone who has seen parents and stuff, parents who deal with that, especially with a newborn and stuff, and handing the child around to relatives who've not seen it. I've seen that happen. I
Hmm.
have been handed a child. It's like, and handed it away because I'm like, I don't know what to do with this child. but
Hmm.
but it's but it's one of those situations where you go, it's like, so it's that whole thing, and it's absolutely beautiful, and and I still love that song, and
Yep.
it's a beautiful, beautiful song. So what is next on our list of stuff?
Movies
Uh,
or specials.
Movies or specials? I put slash specials for a reason, because I don't have any movies per se that are my favorites. I have an honorable mention, which is the Christmas Story, but I don't have any movies per se. The Christmas Story, it's only because it's on all the time. That's why it's an honorable mention. And
I love that
honestly,
one.
it's nice and everything, but if I step back for a second, there is one problematic part, and that's at the end. But for the most part, it's for me, if I step back for a second, it's a very boy centric or male centric Christmas movie, if you think about it,
Well, I mean,
because it's through the
that's
eyes
the
of the
main.
little boy.
The protagonist is a little boy. It's from
I
his
know.
point of view. Of course, it's not like something to be upset about.
No, I'm just saying, it's like, I kind of wish there was a girl version of A Christmas Story for a little girl.
I
Kind
mean,
of.
mom gets her say.
She
Oops, the
does.
lamp broke. Um,
You never liked the lamp. Is
I
that
love
is she
that
think?
movie. I really do. It's funny. I was wanting to get my dad one of those leg lamps. Like, that guy
Yeah.
reminds me of my dad. But instead, I have one, but it's a Harley Quinn one.
Oh, it's Harley Quinn's leg.
Yeah.
I
You
need to
haven't
come to
seen
your
my
house and
Harley lamp? Oh my
I have
god.
no. I
And the
need to
leg
come to.
lights up. It's
I,
awesome.
I need to come to your house and pet your Harley Quinn leg. All right, so that's my honorable mention. So
Maybe
I'll
I'll
throw
take a
that
picture of it and make it the image for our show.
out.
'Tis the season.
That will be interesting.
So
So
my favorite, I love the Rankin Bass
yeah,
animated ones so much. I loved them growing up. I used to always watch them, and The Year Without a Santa Claus is my favorite one, with
okay,
the Heat Miser and the Snow Miser, and Mother Nature is in it, and so the songs are so great. And Blue Christmas. I just dyed my hair. Well, the roots and my streak blue. And last night I went to the brewery for a small gathering, and people were like, "Are you having a blue Christmas?" I was like, "Oh geez, don't say that," because the scene in that with the little girl where she kind of breaks through to Santa, her letter to him about having a blue Christmas without you, and it's the animated of her coloring the picture with crayons to
right.
send to Santa, like, makes me cry every time.
Yeah, no. Um, and by the way, for those who have not seen September's hair, is absolutely stunning. It is amazing. It is a very good look for her. It's very punk. So I like that look on her.
It's
So
fun.
I approve of that a great deal. You don't need my approval, but I think it's very good
My
looking.
friend Lisa last night posted on Facebook saying I look like the Queen of Midnight, and that made me so happy.
So my first one is and I'm trying to remember the name of it. I'm looking it up because I had it in my head and then I forgot it.
Okay.
Christmas with beavers.
Can you give me a clue?
It's the one. Basically, it's the retelling of the gift of the Magi.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
It's the one with the where the mother and son enter a song contest, and so because they don't have any money or anything. Um,
Oh my God, this sounds like a Hallmark Channel special, sweetie.
I'm trying to find it. Hold on a second. It's absolutely adorable. No, that's not. I don't remember it. Anyways, because that didn't help it. Song contest
Okay.
because that didn't. Anyway, so I'm going to switch that one and say the Muppet Christmas Special, the one where all the Muppets show up, including the ones from Sesame Street. Because that's just adorable. Because it just brings everybody together, and it's it even brings the Fraggles together. Because it's at what's his face that that owns the house from Fraggle Rock is at this place, and so it has the Fraggles, it has the Sesame Street, it has the actual Muppets. It's just so many people are under the boards doing Muppets. I feel so bad for them, and I hope everybody was wearing deodorant and during some of those large sing-alongs. But it was it's so many people. It was so gorgeous. But yeah, I love that one. And everybody kept slipping as they were walking into the house because there was this one little icy patch. It's like, and everybody went whoop, boo, and it's just hilarious. But yeah, that is my first one. So what is your second one?
um, Eight Crazy Nights.
I have not.
So it's a
The Adam
Hanukkah movie, not a Christmas movie. But it's Adam Sandler, and I actually own this on DVD. I love it. It's not appropriate for little ones.
That's the animated one.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. It's
I've heard
a wild, fun romp.
I've heard it's a lot. It's very good. I've heard that he was back in form for that particular one, and he put a lot of effort into that one. And
Yeah.
so, glad to hear that. My second one is the not the movie, not the musical, but the 1960 whatever version of How the Grinch Stole Christmas with
Mm-hmm.
with Boris Karloff and everything
Mm-hmm.
doing the narration and all
Yes.
that. It's just and that it had one song on it. And do you know who did that? Who sang that song?
Didn't Boris sing it?
No, that was the voice of Tony the Tiger, the original
Oh,
voice of
neat.
Tony the Tiger. Yeah.
I
Um,
had a friend whose band used to cover it. That was so much fun. It's really great as a rock cover.
Yeah, it's a great song. But it's that one, and that's why I wanted to read that quote because it's my favorite. Again, it's back to that whole commercialism part that has always bothered me as a kid. It even bothered me as a kid. It's like, and that whole thing, you don't need to have a whole bunch of presents.
Yeah, they do a good job with the Grinch personifying envy as bad.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
In particular, I think, and him learning the lesson of not having to. Um, yeah, it's a really great story. Um, I love Miracle on 34th Street.
The original or the remake?
The original.
Okay.
I don't think I've seen the remake. I mean, there's been a couple remakes. I think a
I'm
new one
talking
just
about-
came out, actually. Or is coming out. I don't know. No, the original. Like, that Santa is adorable, and I love the whole post office thing. And that's Jimmy Stewart in that, right? And I love Jimmy Stewart.
It's been a while since I've seen that one.
Yeah.
I
But, like, the whole Postal Service, like, proving he's Santa by giving him the mail is just...
Yeah.
It might have been the beginning of my, like, political leanings, right? Like, this is important.
Yeah, no, I think that is very a Miracle on is I think is a tradition and a classic. It's like It's a Wonderful Life. I think it's one
Yeah.
of those that you just have to say, okay, you know, you may not like the holiday seasons, but here you go. You have to at least say that these are great movies, and they are. They're both very good movies in general. And
Hmm. Yeah,
the
It's a Wonderful Life is just a masterpiece.
it is the remake I was discussing was the one that stars the actress that was in Madeline. Not yeah, Madeline. I think that was one.
Okay. I don't know.
Anyways, no, my favorite is the uh is Christmas Charlie Brown. I loved that one ever since I was a kid.
It's
You
what?
know,
I couldn't hear you.
it's Christmas Charlie Brown,
Oh, okay.
the Charlie Brown Christmas.
Hmm.
Um, it's just just, I remember I think I was like I had watched it like 3 or 4 years in a row, and then I finally got up the courage. It's like, what's the deal with the trees? And it's like, oh, my parents had to explain to me that back in the 60s, all the rage was aluminum trees, not even trees that looked like real trees, but these trees that basically were aluminum shaped on the outside, that were trees that you had lights on. It was like, aluminum conducts heat. That is like, no, they did. It was a fad that didn't last long because there were problems. Yes, son, there were problems.
Hmm. Yeah.
But it's adorable, and I mean, it has all the classic tropes of the World War I flying ace and
Yeah.
everything else, and it's just and you get Schroeder and Lucy uh, flirting with each other.
Yeah. I used to have a little Schroeder pin. Was one of my favorite things, but I gave it to my best friend in high school.
And it also has the great quote of his like, oh, here comes Pigpen, the only person I know that can bring up a dust cloud in a snowstorm.
Hmm.
But that's it's an amazingly cute, and I am upset that Apple has basically purchased the rights to it. Then the only way to see it is if you have a Apple TV membership.
Hmm.
I don't Some things I don't think should be locked away,
Yeah.
and that's one of
Charles
them.
Schultz should be in the public domain just because.
Yes,
Because he
I
would
agree.
be. So on to stories. Are we ready?
Yep, stories.
Okay. I don't have a lot. The
Okay.
only one I've listed that I thought of right away is
Hmm.
called Nicholas Was. It's a short
Okay.
story from Neil Gaiman. It was in his
Right.
book Smoke and Mirrors,
Oh,
and it's a horror piece.
of course it is. It's Neil Gaiman. That's also the one that has the first murder mystery story in it, supposedly.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That's a good one too.
it
Um,
is.
but the Nicholas thing, like you're not you. It slowly unfolds about how he's old and his beard is whiter than white, and he wants to die, and the elves don't speak his language, and like it's horrifying, and it like ends with like this ominous ho ho ho, and I just oh I love it. It's dark and it's twisted, and I loved it, and I will also put a link to a Vimeo presentation of it in our notes for the folks out there.
Um, "Twas the Night Before Christmas."
Okay.
Story, short story kind of thing,
It's a poem,
poem.
right?
Yeah, yeah, it's a poem.
Technically, yeah.
That is, of course, it's a classic. It's, "'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house,
Hmm.
not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse." And I'm like, yeah, okay. obviously, what did you put in the children's food before they went to bed? But okay, because I never slept well on Christmas Eve, as a child. But
You load them up with
that,
sugar, dude. Um,
huh?
you load them up with sugar and they crash.
Oh, that may work, yeah. But so that one is one.
So I kind of
Uh,
wanted to say, like,
mhm.
Harry Potter books. Because they always go
Mm,
through Christmas.
I know.
And I love the way it's treated, but, you know, Rowling's on the don't list now. And that's unfortunate. Um, Nightmare Before Christmas, I want to count
Okay,
that. Like, I know it's a
yeah, that's
movie,
fine.
but it's
That's fine.
such, like, the story of it. Because it
Hmm.
has that, like, what is this? Like, Jack's trying to capture Christmas and no one's getting it, and that displacement, and it's got the kind of the same wrap up as the
Hmm.
Grinch, right? Like, where it's like, oh, I screwed everything up, and it's like, oh, I get it now. I don't know. It's just a great story.
No, I agree that you are allowed to choose anything for a story that you want.
Okay.
Okay, so because the next one I'm going to pick, as far as the story is concerned, has also been made into so many movies, and that's a Christmas Carol.
Mm-hmm.
So many movies.
Do you have a favorite version?
Uh,
Yeah, it's hard. There's so many.
that I
Scrooged is
really
funny. Like the Mickey one is good.
The Mickey one is really good. I especially love when Goofy is playing Marley and he slips on Donald on Scrooge McDuck's cane. It is hilarious. I remember that to this day.
So
No,
my
I
this actually came up yesterday because my son for school is actually reading Dickens' A Christmas Carol,
right.
and like it he discovered the origin of the name Scrooge. Like he was like, "Oh my god!" Like so, Scrooge McDuck was named after Ebenezer Scrooge. I'm like, "Well, it didn't happen the other way around." It was like, no, this Dickensian character like so epitomized
Yeah,
greed that. Yeah, they
yeah.
somehow got away with. I guess there was no trademarking or copywriting to get around or something, and yeah, they totally named him Scrooge, and I mean, it's a verb pretty much too.
Yeah.
So
It's also a verb, yeah. Or yeah, or you're a Scrooge. Yeah, it's like
yeah, yeah,
I want to say probably the George C. Scott version.
okay.
The reason I say that is because it was the first version I saw that had Christmas presents present do the two children under his robe,
Mm,
and that is left out of a lot of versions of the movie,
mm-hmm.
and I think that is very. I think that's an important thing that people miss. I think it misses part of the point if you don't see that there. So that was one of the first ones, and I think it was like a two-parter, but it was really well done, really well shot, and of course George C. Scott is an amazing actor and everything. I also love the Patrick Stewart version. For the kids,
Mm-hmm.
of course, you can't go wrong with the Muppets version as well. Muppets did and if you got another classic actor as Michael Caine doing that version, so there's so many versions. If you there's a musical version,
Yeah.
of course, Scrooge
So
for the more, yeah.
yeah, it's.
So what's another one that you have in mind?
I'm gonna say the Polar Express. We
Okay,
actually own the book. We did the train ride with my
okay.
kids one year. We all wore pajamas and like the chefs came and sang and gave us cocoa. And I mean, it's modern, but it's a great story. The whole thing with you stop hearing the bells when you don't believe anymore. You can't hear the little jingle bell on Santa's sleigh anymore. Is beautifully put into this really dramatic story,
Mhm.
and the kids like the are different, trope archetypes of behaviors, and I mean, it's really really good. I still have the little bell that Santa gave me on the train ride, and I hang it on my tree. I think my kids
Yeah.
lost theirs, but kids.
I didn't even know they did that.
Yeah,
Where
it's
was?
a Tweetsy Railroad,
Oh, okay,
and
okay.
you can pay, and you like go in your jammies and stuff, and um, yeah, the chefs come and they dance around. They bring you cocoa, and it takes you up into. There's a whole little town completely decked out in Christmas lights and stuff
Hmm.
that you stop at, and then Santa like comes on the train and gives each kid a little bell,
That's
and
adorable.
it's a beautiful little ride. Edna, like Connor's grandmother on his donor side,
Hmm.
took me and the boys one year on that ride at Tweetsy Railroad. It was wonderful.
That I did not know
And it
Tweetsie
was
did that.
cool because like we had this our server was like this punk rock kind of weird colored hair chick, and we were all wearing Nightmare Before Christmas pajamas, and we got like lots of extra treats.
I bet you did, because she was like, "Oh, I know who you are." It's like, "Oh, it's like your own kind." It's like, yeah,
Yes.
it's like,
Like, oh man, I can't believe these people are on this ride. Yeah.
yeah. Um, so I'm going to throw out an honorable mention because it only has a passing mention of. Well, it part of the story of Chris. Part of the story is in it, but it's an honorable mention, and that's The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, because I absolutely love that book and I read it
Yeah.
every Christmas. But it's not a Christmas story, but it has Christmas. Basically
Theme
is like
stuff. Yeah.
yeah, but well, and also it's always winter, but never Christmas is part of the thing.
Yeah.
So, but of course,
I mean, it seems to be more like a solstice story in a lot of ways. I mean,
it
because
is.
and with as when bringing
Uh,
the dawn, I mean that
uh,
fits with that too, being the parallel with Christianity, saving everybody. But it's like the solstice being the longest night of the year, and you stay up to watch the sun come up, to make sure it comes up and greet it, so that the year starts to turn warmer and the days start to get longer. Is a
yeah,
solstice theme.
yeah. But as far as my favorite Christmas story, and this would shock no one, is because I have Reverend in front of my name. It would be the Luke version of the Christmas of the Christmas miracle and the
Okay.
Christmas story. Um, because it goes through the whole Mary, finds out she's pregnant, goes and visits Elizabeth. They have their little songs, their little prayers to each other. Then it gets Joseph has to put her on a donkey. They have to go to Bethlehem, and then you get the shepherds, and that's it. There's no wise men in the Luke version, and there's no Herod, and there's no baby murder. It's just all right there, and you're good to go, and then we move on. So I like that one. I like that one, and don't get me wrong, you have to have both. But if I'm going to read one, I prefer that one because it's God is telling the shepherds, the common people, that this is important, versus the Matthew version, which is talking about telling important people. And I think that's why I relate and like
Mm,
the Luke version a lot better.
okay.
So, last thing we're going to touch on is holiday, or what you do for holiday foods. What's your favorite holiday kind of foods?
Well, my chocolate pecan pies, of which I will be making a pile because I am selling some again at Christmas. It was a
Uh,
traditional thing, and my mom used to make until she was horribly burned by one, and it took me like 15 years to drag the recipe out of her, and now I make them at Thanksgiving and Christmas for my family, and last year and this year I started selling them to people because I actually took them and shared them, and now people want them.
Look, it's chocolate and it's pecan. How can you go wrong with that? I mean, really. I mean, it's
Oh, yeah.
perfect. Ham. It's a thing. I think it's always been a thing. I mean, growing up and everything, when we'd have Christmas dinner, it would be turkey and ham, but I my brother especially loves honey baked ham from honey baked. The spiral cut hams and
Fancy, yeah.
everything, and ham is just
I
it's a
like
thing.
ham, but my family prefers turkey, so we've ended up going to just turkey for Christmas and Thanksgiving the last couple years. But I force I force the ham for Easter. So like,
I
damn
don't
it, I gotta
remember.
have one holiday with my ham because I love a ham. I put pineapple on it and cloves, and I base it with brown sugar and ginger ale.
Yeah.
So you end up with
Okay.
this really yummy gravy glaze. Yeah. Um,
Uh.
Another thing for me is going to sound a little strange, people, but lasagna. I don't always do it, but to me, lasagna says Christmas because that was like we'd always go to my grandmother's house for Christmas, and
Right.
we'd usually go Christmas Eve, and we would have lasagna, and then like on Christmas we would have the ham or whatever. Um, but we always had lasagna, and I seem to be the only person in my family that ever remembers this for some reason. I don't know if there were just enough horror stories at Christmas that it got blocked out for everyone, but to me, lasagna is like a Christmas feast thing.
Um. Turkish delight
Ugh.
is a Christmas thing, and I blame C.S. Lewis for this because of the Chronicles of Narnia. And I was like, I didn't even know what Turkish delight was until I started reading those books, and
Yeah, it
I got
sounds great, but it's not. I mean, I guess you like it, but
hey, back off on my Turkish delight.
I mean, it
I,
just
I'm
looks so horrifying, and the texture is. I can't.
it's like, well, obviously it must be wonderful because someone sold out his three siblings for it, So,
Oh
so
yeah,
I'm like, like,
I
yeah.
think it had drugs in it, but
Well, that's probably it's magical. So, but no,
yeah.
but there's here's the thing: people don't understand. There's more. The most common is what's known as rosewater Turkish delight, but there are so many different other flavors. There's mango. There's pistachio. There's it is
The only ones
so
I've ever tried just
especially
tasted
when
like just it was just too sweet. I actually don't like
you can't
overly
have like
sweet
more than
stuff.
a couple of pieces. I don't know how he ate an entire box of it. Again, magic, but it's
Yeah.
one of those things. Is like So when I think of Christmas for me, it's like, oh yeah, Turkish delight. Oh, that's amazing. Oh yeah, and everything else, and it's yeah. So that's something I think of.
Another thing for me is apple pie. And it's another
Mhm.
thing that I don't actually always make. I seldom make. Um, but my grandmother always made apple pie at Christmas, and it's, to me, that's. I didn't even usually eat it for Christmas dinner. It was like, because you're too full. You like pig out on all the things, and then you're too
Right,
full for dessert. To me, apple pie is a perfect breakfast. It was always like the day after Christmas.
right.
Apple pie, coffee is a perfect breakfast. It just makes me incredibly happy. So
So
every once in a while, I do go ahead and make one, and I use all Granny Smith apples. I like to have a little actual, like, I don't like apple pie to be overly sweet and mushy.
right.
I want it to taste like apples. Yeah. So
So do you put like any whipped cream on it, or do you put
no,
like a slice of cheddar cheese on it?
nope,
Okay.
nope.
I was just
Just my
I never
homemade
understood.
crust. I
I
like
never
a little cinnamon, a little actually nutmeg in my
Mhm.
apple pie. Although last time I made it, I used the holiday spice from the World of Warcraft cookbook.
um I don't I never understood the melted slice of cheddar cheese on the apple pie.
I
But
get
it
it. It
was a
sounds good. I've just never done it. I don't, think of it
I,
because I was just having that discussion with somebody the other day. I was trying to explain like they thought flavors that didn't go together, but the sweet and savory does make sense.
I tried it. It's not for me, but I've tried it, and like maybe I didn't have the right cheddar cheese, so it was like, but and it's like no, no, I'll take the Cool Whip. So it's like
No, I
and,
put a fresh on my chocolate pecan pie. I usually whip some cream fresh.
uh
I don't like. It's just a teeny bit of sugar, maybe a splash of bourbon in it.
all right. So my last one is cream corn. My grandmother's cream corn. I never got the recipe from her, and she never told anybody how. It's cream corn is. I would. So when we would go to my grandmother's house to have Christmas or Thanksgiving dinner, I would maneuver myself to sit in front of the bowl with the cream corn, and I would eye people when they would go for a third spoonful of the cream corn because that's my cream corn.
Wow.
That was my and it's then my and about halfway through the third person of me eyeballing with my eyes narrowed at them, my grandmother's like, Daniel, I've put a whole another bowl for you to take
Wow.
home. It's like, oh, okay. So,
I've never had homemade cream corn. I've only ever had it from a
oh,
can. And it's
it's
not anything
very
in my family like anybody eats, but every once in a while I get some because it's kind of a comfort food.
right. It was very buttery and it was amazing. And of course, when she said bowl, it was always a country crock, bowl.
Gotcha.
It's like, yeah, the Tupperware of the
Mystery
South.
Tupperware. What's in this? No
Yes.
telling.
Just butter or yeah. So yeah, so that's our holidays.
That's
So
our holiday
that's what we
stuff.
do for our holidays. So before we get to our carrots and sticks, brother Bowie, will you lead us in a word of prayer?
I'll say hi, Commander Meerkat, because I gotta cut this bit out anyway, so I can stick the bumper in later.
Yeah, that's fine.
No live bumpers.
All right, so I'm gonna do the carrot because this one's mine.
Okay.
And I'm gonna let you handle the second because we have two sticks, but I'm gonna do this
Yeah, but
carrot.
I'm not gonna
But
go on like about Christ the way you are, so we can just give
okay,
2 sticks.
okay, right, because I'm sure you'll want to mention this as well. Talk about the carrot, but the carrot it goes to AOC. Uh, for saying that the fact that sex workers are workers and that they should be treated with dignity. And I can't think of another Congress. She posted this on her Twitter page because there was a article going around about how there was this first responder who had a fans only fans, sorry, site as well to help pay the bills and stuff like that. And she was got basically got shamed and stuff like that,
Doxed.
and doxed, yeah, and all that kind of stuff. And AOC came in as like sex workers are workers too.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I think this is the first congressperson to ever come out and say that out in the open, and I think it's important, and I think that's a shift that needs to happen, um,
Yeah.
because to make it regular and everything else, that will protect a lot of people. Will you would once we start getting over that stigma, then you'll see a lot of less abuse of these
It makes
individuals.
so much sense to do. I mean,
Yeah,
legalizing, normalizing, respecting workers in the sex trade protects everyone. It protects the workers and the clients.
right. And then at that point, it also helps as far as sex trafficking and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
or human trafficking and stuff like that, because it normalizes this, and then therefore those individuals who are doing this would have a less because this is all because it's all underground right now. If it's not underground, those individuals would have no place to go at that point. So they would have no outlets to be able to use this. So I think that's a bad. I think it's a good thing that we definitely need to get out of that Puritan mindset
Maybe
as
I'll
far
set
as
a
that.
site out.
Yeah,
I've been talking about OnlyFans a lot with people recently, actually.
yeah.
Because I have a friend who is, she was debating having an account. She doesn't know, and she was all worried about stuff. And I was like, it doesn't have to. It's not all just explicit sex stuff.
No.
I mean, so, and there's somebody has bought. There's a beer at Forward at Fourth Creek Brewing where you can buy beers and put them up there, and there's Patriots fans and people put beers up there for specific people or cops or a mom having a hard day, and somebody put OnlyFans creator, and people kept tacking onto it. So I think there's 3 or 4 beers there waiting for someone to just go, I do that, and you get a free beer.
Great. Yeah, that's wonderful.
So sticks, we have 2 sticks. It's the first
we
stick,
do.
Barney.
First stick, there's no link to this or anything. This is just a thing. And it's like, and I mentioned this before, it's like, it's to all those people who are war on Christmas. It's a war on Christmas, blah, blah, blah kind of stuff. And being very exclusive and being very, it's all about Christmas. And I'm like, no, it's not all about Christmas. It's about the holidays. It's about Kwanzaa. It's about Hanukkah. It's about solstice or Yule, and Christmas. That's at least 5, and I know there's more holidays.
Ramadan. There's a whole bunch of them.
That happen in the month of December. And so it's not just your month, Christians. It's not just your month. So get off your high horse. This is not just about you. And this is mostly to American Christians. So, because for whatever reason they get all crazy about it. There has never been a war on Christmas. The Xmas used to be a symbol that was used for Christ. So get over that. There's no war on Christmas. There's no war on your religion. You are not being, crucified. You are not being, marginalized. Get over yourselves. Let everybody enjoy the holiday. Basically, let everybody enjoy.
There was a meme I saw recently. It was like, Jesus being like looking down and like, crosses, really? You're praying to crosses. What part of my story makes you think that I like crosses?
Bill Hickman was a comedian, and he talked about that. He talked about it's like Jesus looking down and seeing all the people praying to crosses and stuff like that. It's like going up to Jackie O with a sniper rifle pin. It's like thinking about you. It's like it's one of those things. It's like it's not our best look. For a long time it was the fish was the symbol. So, but anyways, what I'm saying is that the holidays are supposed to be a time of joy, and you're trying to take away joy from other people because you want to be angry because someone said happy holidays to you. If someone says happy holidays to you, just say it back, or just, if someone says Merry Christmas to you, say Merry Christmas back, because they don't know if you're Christian or if you're a Jewish person or, a Muslim or a pagan or whatever, and they're trying to be respectful. So be respectful back. That's all. All this is about having a little bit of respect and a little bit of love for your fellow man. That's what this whole season's supposed to be about. It's about love for your fellow man. So how about sharing a little bit of that love instead of being angry because someone said happy holidays instead of Merry Christmas?
That's some ridiculous privilege shit right there.
Yeah, that is.
So I'm going to give the other stick to Kirk Cameron. Longtime listeners know that we did a review of his Saving Christmas bullshit movie some years ago, and boy, he's at it again. Now he's trying to save Christmas by killing people. Hell with, the COVID guidelines, but he got hundreds of people together in public to sing Christmas carols. And there are pictures of this online, and there's just not a mask in sight. This is possibly the most dangerous thing you could possibly do right now is sing. You're like projecting breathing, spitting, singing in public with hundreds of people. And so, yeah, he got like a couple hundred people together at a mall, of course, in Thousand Oaks. And yeah, literally swarms of people huddled up, not wearing masks and just singing.
Yeah, that's and of course it's a mall because he's also all about consumerism as well, because that was one of our biggest criticisms about his Saving Christmas is like it's okay to not worry about your fellow man. It's okay to buy a whole bunch of presents and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. And we'll see if he watches any of these numbers, right? Because this is the second one he's done. He did one December 6th.
Hmm.
So we'll be due for a little outbreak from that one in a couple of days.
Yeah,
And then he just did another one.
yeah.
Mall security called the police. And the police just came and said, you people should have masks, and left.
Oh, well, that was very helpful of the police.
Mm-hmm. The police not enforcing these orders is not helping anything right now. So
no, that's problematic as well. So
Ugh.
you two, yeah. So yeah, the Christians, because these are both Christian groups that were both.
Yeah.
Stop being bad about being Christmas. It's like this is supposed to be part of the whole holiday thing, and you're being bad about it. So stop it.
Yeah. This is me like celebrating the birth of your Lord and Savior and like caring for other people, and you're literally trying to kill more people.
Yeah, that's absolutely
wow.
Lord save us.
How Christian of you. Bless your heart.
Bless you. Yeah, as Gandhi says, it's like I like this Jesus fellow. I'm not sure about his followers though.
Yeah. Right.
Like, wow. Yeah, I kind of feel you sometimes. So, with that being said, we are not going to be doing a show next week. We are both going to take the holiday and enjoy ourselves, and we both wish you. I am not going to speak for September. I apologize, but I wish you a wonderful holiday the next week, and I hope it's a wonderful holiday for you, September.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to add to that before we close the show?
Nope. Hope everybody has a really good holiday.
I can't hear you.
Oh, I said I just hope everyone has a very good holiday.
Okay.
I'll be making things and baking things.
Yes.
And my anniversary is Monday, so.
Happy, and it was your 21st?
Yep.
And it's on the 21st, so that's...
Yeah.
Yeah, too bad you couldn't have done that a little sooner, so it'd been on the 21st, 20. Anyways, that's fine. So we will be back on the 29th to do a year in review. That will be fun. Sure. We'll review the entire year of 2020. But until then, I want to thank you for joining us at Heresy and Hearsay. I'm Reverend Barney, and you can follow us on Twitter at SethRothII, and you can follow the show on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, and any podcast catcher, as well as our website. You can just Google us. Don't forget our Patreon page, where $2 a month can keep the show going.
And I'm September. You can follow me on Twitch and Twitter at Night of 12 and hear me on the Geek Grills podcast. Thank you for listening today, and bless your hearts. Okay. Diamond Club hopes you enjoyed this program.
By the way, I didn't know if you noticed this or not, but I resubscribed to the Geek Grills last night. So.
Oh, awesome! Thank you. No, I haven't been to the channel. It'll probably let me know. Oh, on Patreon or Twitch?
Twitch.
Cool. Thanks.
So
I've been
it's like
subscribed to them for like 24 months or something. Yeah.
And it's like, my free month has returned. And it's like, great. Let me do that and get off of, Critical Role and the other channels and stuff like that. I circle around 3 different ones, but I think Critical Role is fine. They don't need my money anymore.
Yeah,
they have
right?
more than enough. They have more than enough of my money at this point.
They're so rich and famous right
now. I don't think they're quite that, but they're doing well enough that they, they're starting to make their own dice. They'll be fine.
Yep.
They've started their own publishing company. So
I'm trying to, I don't know. I did just sell a bunch of jewelry, There's a humble bundle with all the Cyberpunk RPG books, and I kind of want it.
I would love to be able to get that, but I ain't got no money, so yeah.
They have like $1. The dollar one has a bunch of like add-on books, supplements. The $8 one has the core book and a whole bunch more supplements. Like
Right.
for $8, you just get a shit ton of books, and it benefits a charity that helps differently abled gamers, which is
Okay.
kind of freaking awesome. Like with tech, so it's like perfect for it's a cyberpunk bundle.
Yeah, no, which is good because the Cyberpunk game causes seizures, so.
Not the RPG.
No, no, I'm talking about the
One
Cyberpunk 20.
reporter had a seizure, and there's a warning on the game now. So, lots of games have that issue sometimes. Just some
But-
flashing lights.
Yeah, I know. But so, anyways, you
All right,
enjoy
I'm gonna end the
your
stream.
holidays. Okay.
And I say bye. Nice to see you in the stream, Commander Meerkat. I hope you have a wonderful holiday.